Hey guys, it's Keith with Yarbrough Sons. Recently we were going through our videos and we saw we had quite a few comments. Thought I'd come on here and try to address some of those. I'm gonna clean off my glasses a little bit and we'll get started. Don't want to misread anything. So yeah, I took these comments and just kind of went through and tried to pick different comments so I could address different issues that people were commenting about. We love to try to answer any kind of questions we can. First one's actually on my video where I did a heat exchanger showing this like 26-year-old furnace. It had a crack in the heat exchanger. Got 2 comments on there and kind of wanted to address those. Stop installing gas heaters. Maybe I'm just lucky to work on heat pumps and electricity. Gas isn't cheap anymore. Well, kind of depends on where you live. Gas is still pretty cheap here. Now, I will say, this is kind of a hard thing to discuss because heat pumps are getting way better and every year they get better and better. So yes, in some senses you can get a heat pump that's going to be more efficient than gas. Probably going to cost you a little bit more, so it kind of depends. Another reason we like to go with gas around here is a lot of our houses already have gas. I have a gas furnace in my house, and as long as they're properly maintained, they're great units. But that's the only thing I would ever say about it is you want to make sure that, 1, you're getting them properly maintained, 2, that you have multiple carbon monoxide detectors. Those are just safety things that you kind of need when you have gas. I wouldn't give up my gas. I like cooking with gas. We have a gas stove. That's always nice. My actual dryer is actually gas. My gas bill is never very high. I think we get to $50 in the wintertime, so it's next to nothing. So gas can be more expensive depending on where you live, but here in Oklahoma, gas is king, so it kind of makes sense for us. So same video, different comment. This viewer actually wrote, for someone that does heat and air work, you should know many cracks in heat exchanger units yield 0 carbon monoxide in the residence. If there is a carbon monoxide leak, which is unlikely because metal expands when heated and the cracks often close, that leakage goes up through the flue, not back to the house. You, like 95% of your partners in crime, will use this excuse to sell new heat and air systems by scaring the homeowner. It goes on, yada, 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 yada. I will say about this, I do not take my customers' safety lightly. You say that, well, the carbon monoxide is not going to get in the house, cracks can be in the heat exchanger, and that's fine. That's not necessarily true. I'm going to go off of what manufacturers suggest, and one of the manufacturers that we use is Lennox. We're a Lennox dealer, and on their install instructions, they tell you to go off the AHRI recommendations on how to check a heat exchanger. And if you go to the AHRI recommendations on checking a heat exchanger, one of the lines that actually says replace if there's a crack, a spot, any kind of signs of damage. In fact, let me read it to you verbatim. If there is any abnormal splits, cracks, or holes, heat exchanger must be replaced. And that's not me saying that, that's a third party saying it. I don't go off of anything that I want to do. I'm not trying to sell somebody something. I want to make sure that person's safe, and I think there's a lot of engineers that are smarter than me that I'm going to go off of their recommendations, not mine. So we did a whole bunch of parts. We went through a furnace that was 26 years old, and we just kind of went over the parts that were on there, different pricings on the parts, kind of where a bunch of these comments went to. Lots of people do not like pricing. We get a lot of comments on, well, that part's only $10, that part's only $100. Any prices that I give there is what you would expect if I show up your house and do that service for you. Lots of people can do those services themselves, and by all means do. That's what I do in my house because I have the knowledge to do that. I am a professional. I've been doing this for 20 years. I do know a little bit about this or that, and yeah, some of those things you can do yourself, but realize with anything that we do, it comes with warranties, it comes with different safety things, like we are insured. We are licensed to do it, but by all means, it's your house. I'm not one to stop somebody from doing that. We get a lot of people that they don't want to take care of that because it is a dangerous part of your house. There's lots of high voltage and other things that need to be addressed, and not everybody wants to take a risk on that. Hey guys, if you made it this far in the video, we want to thank you for watching this. Best way I can think of to thank you is give you a free service call. If you're in our service area, definitely comment below the code SERVICE and we'll contact you, waive our $89 dispatch fee. Get out there and see what's going on with your unit. So definitely comment below. Thanks. One of the things I liked is this actual viewer actually commented on another viewer's comment. Having said that, running these businesses have become almost impossible due to insurance and overhead costs. So I don't blame them for wanting to sell a few per month. I mean, I don't know what he means by a few per month. One commenter on here said it's highway robbery. I don't agree with that. Anything we do is I'm going to see what that system's doing, and I'm going to check over the full system and give you all the information you need to get that unit back up to spec. I'm going to give you options. I want to make sure that we find something that's going to work for you as a customer, and that's the way I always have to do it. I'm definitely not working on any highways unless they're state highways and the house is right off of it. But so we definitely want to make sure that you get your options, and we're going to try to do the best. I want a system to be within spec. Anything that goes out of spec, you're going to start running into situations where it could damage that system in a worse way than what it is right now. So, all right, so on this next video, it was another parts video. This was kind of a short on TikTok that we were going actually over some electric heat strips. The actual viewer said, where are y'all getting 5-year warranty on replacement parts? Thought the standard was a year warranty. Now, I will say most parts, we do have year warranty, is what the part is actually warranted for. But on certain things like on these, on electric heat kits and stuff like that, we can actually get those from the manufacturer and they'll give us a 5-year. That's just a deal we have with the manufacturer. So it's a great thing to have. Some motors we've been able to get 5-year parts on and stuff like that. We can't get it on all of them, so we don't really advertise that. I don't know a heat kit out there that we can't get 5 years. And we're always upfront with the customers, so we always tell them up front, you know, look, we would rather do this instead of replacing one part or this little part, because it's going to cost just a little bit more to get the whole kit replaced. So it makes sense for the customer just to go ahead and replace the whole thing and actually have a warranty, as opposed to if I replace a sequencer and it's 1 year on just that sequencer. Now, that's not necessarily one thing. A sequencer wouldn't make me really want to replace it, but there are multiple parts that go out. Definitely if you have a element go out, for me to restring it is going to be pretty close to what just getting the kit is. So at that point, it makes sense just to go ahead and replace it. So thanks for that comment. Well, let's move on to the next one. All right, so our next one, this video is actually another one on the parts video that we were doing on an air handler, and it was actually on the run cap that it was on there. Definitely see a lot of run caps. The actual viewer on this one simply stated, what are some American-made run capacitors? American-made run capacitors, we usually use a Titan as a brand, and they make a US-made run capacitor. They also make China-made ones, so usually you can tell them the US ones will come in a red, white, and blue box. That's pretty convenient to know which one you're getting. China ones are usually in a yellow and a gray box, so it's kind of easy to grab them. Lots of times you can call any kind of the supply houses and ask them, hey, I want a US-made run capacitor, or just check on if you find one, just go on, usually you can Google it and look up stuff and see where they're made. Just be careful. About 5 years ago, they started pulling one over on us, and they started saying that they were made in PRC. And I said, where is PRC? What is PRC? And is a China-made one. They just tried to put something besides saying China on there, because they knew people were catching on. But I really do believe in American-made run capacitors. Well worth it. Even if you had to pay double for the run capacitor, I think it'd last you a lot longer. Sadly, most manufacturers use China-made run capacitors, and that's why we see a high failure rate. One reason we try to sell labor warranties with our units, we want to make sure our customers are covered, because we know there's things that are going to fail on that mechanical device that we want to make sure they're covered, and that's not going to be a cost to them. We listen to all of y'all. I call customers after our service calls out there, and I will say one of the biggest pushbacks I get is pricing, and we are always looking for ways that we can save you money. That's one of the reasons I've pushed for some of our specials that we run, to try to save the money for those customers. You know, I've gotten great deals. Check our website. We're always trying to get deals out there for y'all and give you the best That's really all I have today. Definitely keep commenting. We appreciate all these comments, and we'll catch you on the next time.